we still don't know. I mean, like the only way what we do is make staging gear and sell it and rent it out to people, and nobody's hitting us up for any jobs right now. So who knows when that stuff's gonna start back up? I'm thinking it might be they've been saying by the fall now, but I think there's a good chance that they just shut down all live events until the end of the year. You know, because one, even if tomorrow they decide it's, cool and we can go out and we can go see Megadeth play or whatever. Um, One, people aren't going to have the money because there are millions of people that are out of work right now, and two, the scare of this whole pandemic and this, virus, people are going to be scared to go out into big crowds still. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. A quote that I heard one time was that we're flying this plane as we're building it, and that couldn't be any more accurate. And I guess you just got to wait it out.
Yeah, it's a little terrifying. I'm not like so worried about the sickness aspect of it. I mean, I understand the reality of it and the deepness of it, so I'm not trying to gloss over that people are losing their lives over it. But here sitting in my house, I've not been coming in contact with anybody, so I'm not like so worried about the health thing right as I am about the economy. And I've never been a dude that cares anything about the economy. Like, I grew up super, super poor, and then I joined metal bands and I toured for the first like 10, 15 years of my adult life. So like, money never really meant anything to me at all until now. I have a job that is somewhat of a career, and like, I bought a house last year, and I was supposed to be getting married in 5 days, and it got canceled because of all of this. So like this, I finally in the last couple of years really started to grow up or whatever. So for me, this is a really like eye-opening. Oh my gosh, the economy's dropping, and where's and all that, all that stuff. It's just kind of terrifying.
Well, I'm sorry about your wedding being canceled, but congratulations on getting married. That's a really exciting thing.
Thanks, dude. I mean, we've been together for like 10 years. So it's about time. So I guess, having to put this thing off 4 or 5 months or however long it's going to take is not the biggest thing in the world, but I was kind of just ready to, I don't want to say get it over with, but I was ready to get it over with. And the fact that like planning a wedding has been like one of the most stressful things in my life. It's like when we used to play hometown shows, we'd go out and we'd play all over the world and stuff, and we weren't that big of a band. We might pull anywhere from 50 kids to a few hundred kids somewhere in some random town. But in Nashville, we could pull like about 1,000 people. And like, so planning a hometown show was always like the craziest, most stressful thing. And you're trying to like make it really successful and, honestly make a little bit of money off of it. So you're just putting so much time and effort into any hometown show that you ever do to try to make it just the most fun and profitable. And that's what this wedding feels like. Not that it's profitable, because we're not, we're spending money, not making money.
Yeah.
But you just want everything to be perfect, and you want all your friends to be there, and you want it all to just go seamless from beginning to end. And it's like trying to book a show, only just like way more. Like, it feels like the
only you're pleasing your wife.
Yeah. making her happy is way more important than like trying to make a couple kids mosh, I guess.
Yeah, this May 4th, Star Wars Day, actually is my 2nd anniversary of being married, and our wedding, we planned it. It was super stressful. Like, we literally shopped till we drop. I was like, I'm going out to the car. We've been in Hobby Lobby for 5 hours now. Like, and so I totally understand. But when it happens, as long as she's happy, like, nothing went according to plan for our wedding, but it was still amazing, still a blast, and she loved it. So as long as that happens and y'all are together, that's all that it really matters. You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, she hadn't left me yet. You know, we've been together 10 years and bought a house together and stuff. So I figure if she waited 10 years for me to ask her to marry her, then we're going to make it forever. So whatever.
Oh, yeah. So, on a lighter note, before I had messaged you, I was really sad to see that, according to, I think I was on Wikipedia, and I know that's not the most reputable source, but that Please Not a Band anymore. But then you said that y'all had just released a new single, so what's up with that?
Yeah, well, you know, so the band was over. 2012 is when we like officially called it quits as a band. We did get together and play a reunion show in 2017 over in California, in LA, for Face Down Fest's 20-year anniversary. But yeah, so we haven't been a band for almost 8 years now, which is crazy. But we did put out a song I guess that was this year, sometime a couple months ago. It was a song that was already recorded and released on a 7-inch vinyl. It was like a B-side. It's called Fat Pride. It was on the B-side of the Heart of a Child 7-inch we put out. But it has never been available digitally. Like, it might have been on, you know, YouTube or something if somebody ripped it on there, but it was never officially released by us digitally. And we just thought, hey, it would be cool to give people something, you know. There was no ulterior motives. Like, soon as we put that out, and like there's a long backstory to it too, like for you to be able to put stuff on Spotify, your Facebook account has to be active. It has something to do with like the back end of Spotify and Facebook and TuneCore and the way that Face Down puts music up. So anyway, we had to reactivate a Facebook page that had previously been deleted. Like, we didn't delete it, like Facebook took it down for some reason. And all that to be said, we have like a new Facebook page. And when we did that, we went ahead and started a Twitter and an Instagram too, just to own all those faces, you know. But everybody, as soon as we put up that song and they saw a couple social accounts come up, everybody just blew up and thought that we were about to be a band again, you know. And it wasn't that we were trying to even make, you know, people overexcited or anything. It just kind of all happened all at the same time.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about that because I've loved y'all a long time, like since Critique came out. And like, I remember seeing y'all in Abilene, Texas, in this little tiny, like, almost like shed in Rose Park. And I couldn't even tell you when that was. It would have been like 2007, 8, 9, something like that. And then again, at a really awesome show with My Children, My Bride, Haste the Day, and The Chariot in Lubbock. And that was an amazing show.
Was that at Jake's?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I remember that.
That was
I'm trying
one
to remember
of my
that.
favorite shows ever, honestly.
That was a really fun tour, man. We were really lucky to play some cool shows and some cool tours. We never did anything huge or got, you know, massively successful. It all depends on what people think success is. But we were able to tour with a lot of cool bands and make a lot of good friends. And that one was a great one. Like, every band on that tour were fun dudes to hang out with, guys that we'd known like our entire career for the most part. And so it was cool that was towards the end of the band, I think, that tour. So it was exciting. It was really fun. I got a lot of memories from that one for sure.
I bet. I just recently talked with a band that's from Indiana and Kentucky, and they actually saw that same tour. But they were telling me y'all were supposed to be playing like Furnace Fest this year, something like that.
No, we got asked to play Furnace Fest. Kind of. Oh, well, you know, I'll be completely transparent about it. And it was a totally positive thing. So anybody listening to this, don't go to Furnace Fest with any negativity, because there wasn't that. Chad, who runs Furnace, or is one of the, he is the founder of Furnace Fest, but now he's taken on some partners. Anyway, we've been friends with him. I've known him for years. He reached out about us playing. It kind of started as just like a, hey, would you guys ever be interested in maybe talking about it? And I was like, sure, man, maybe. Because we're not looking, we never set out to be like a reunion band that's going to do a bunch of reunion stuff. But now the older we get, and the more that we're invested in our careers, we realized when we stopped the band. Sorry, every time I get asked a question, I just kind of go on these long-winded rants, but
that's good for me.
Around in my head. But when Plea broke up in 2012, we made a commitment to each other that was for real, the last show ever. And we weren't going to do this thing where you come back and you do reunions and stuff. Because we gave every bit of ourselves to the band. None of us worked jobs while we were in the band. We were like 100% devoted to that. And then towards the end of the band, guys were getting married and everybody just needed to start focusing on their personal lives. So we thought it would be best if the band was over 100% and not try to straddle the fence. Anyway, in 2017, we did that reunion for Face Down Fest because Face Down was hugely important in all of our personal lives, not just as a band. And the 20-year Face Down Fest reunion just made sense for us to go do. Fast forward to now, we all have our careers. We're all grown-ups. We have other things going on in our lives. And if somebody were to call us and say, hey, you want to come play this festival? You want to come play this show? I don't think any of us are at that, no. It used to be an automatic no. I would answer every email anybody ever asked saying no. Now we'll at least have a conversation about it because I don't know. If it made sense for us to just making something up, fly to Colorado or something and play a show one weekend. It sounds fun, but it would have to make a lot of sense. And what that means really is financially. And I'm not trying to go for a cash grab, but when you got one guy that lives in California, one guy that lives in Indiana, two guys that live in Nashville, one guy that lives in East Tennessee, we're all spread out. We all have careers. You're talking about 5 people having to end up in the same place for a week to rehearse, because we're not just going to show up somewhere and sound terrible. So have to show up somewhere for a week, rehearse, rent a practice space, then rent a van to drive there or fly there. It's just a pretty expensive thing. You can't just go play somewhere for $500.
Yeah.
So anyway, with all that being said, we were approached by Furnace Fest, and we shot them a price that actually was way lower than anybody we've ever given a price to before. Just because it was a really legendary thing, and we were like, dude, we would be really stoked to be a part of that. So we shot a number that we thought was lower than what we would actually ask somebody to play, but it was still too high for them to want to pay us that, which is totally cool and no hard feelings, because they got some really impressive, legendary, legacy bands playing that, really in the grand scheme of things mean a lot more to the world than we ever did. So, there's a lot of money to be floating around at that festival, and it just didn't work out. The stars didn't align.
We're going to take a quick break. Here is Fat Pride from Plea. Enjoy.